And here we go into the jungle. Sort of. I'll see how long my barefoot walking lasts, but so far, doing all right with it. So, I looked at my phone on the map, and we are exactly halfway down the island, which is very appropriate because we are also exactly halfway down the list, or up the list. So, now into the top 10. Number 10 is Mexico. So I've been to Mexico many times. My favorite food is Mexican food, without a doubt. There is, of course, so much to see in Mexico. You have a bit of almost everything. Beaches, mountains, incredible ancient ruins, epic cities. As I said, built by the Spanish. And so most Mexican towns and cities have a beautiful old town at the center. Really friendly people. As far as favorite cities, then for me it is Guanajuato, in Guanajuato state, so in the interior, so no beaches, but a really super interesting city there. Not very popular with foreign travelers, so you won't see hardly any other gringos there, so to speak. Gringo is not a derogatory word for Americans or Western Caucasians. It is just a neutral term, basically. But one of the best countries in the world, with an absolutely ridiculous amount of things to see, places to go, experiences, cultural, culinary, some of the best beaches in the world, and reasonable prices, but it definitely is not like it used to be. Prices are going up so that it's getting pretty close to US prices in most of the touristy places. And here we go, yet another just amazing beach. Unbelievable how many beaches there are on this little tiny island that you can literally walk across, as I'm doing right now, walking the long way. Look at that, what a sight. When I checked the weather forecast yesterday, it was showing today as being cloudy. But I'm happy that they were wrong. Loving the sunshine. So, next on the list, Switzerland. Definitely because of the natural beauty, as well as the organization of the country, the cleanliness, the ease of travel, taking trains, and being smack in the middle of the Alps. It is just ridiculously gorgeous and a lot to see for also being a fairly small country. But it is one of those places where pretty much everywhere you go, you kind of feel like you're in a movie. Walking through a 1950s movie about the Alps. Would absolutely love to go back. There's a lot to see. You can just keep finding new places in the mountains there. The Matterhorn and gorgeous lakes, hikes, all sorts of various action sports. A lot to see and do. Really, the one and only drawback is the prices. It is just so ridiculously expensive. The last time that I was there, I'm not sure exactly how much I spent, but even booking the cheapest rooms that I could find, I was spending like $300 or $400 a day. So after 10 days, I was like, man, I just got to get out of here because I cannot afford this. Of course, there are hostels, and that will bring down your costs a lot, but the prices of food, trains, everything is just through the roof. And then if the next country isn't on your list of top countries, you must not have been there. Italy. Who would go to Italy and not love Italy? The food, the culture, the incredible architecture, Roman ruins, some of the best beaches in the world, crystal clear Mediterranean waters, and mountains, the Alps, the Dolomites, absolutely gorgeous. There is so much to explore in Italy. I've been there many times and still kind of feel like I've really just scratched the surface, because it is one of those places, again, like Spain, where you can just go anywhere and find beautiful towns, villages, mountains, beaches. It is really the ultimate traveling experience. You could simply go to Sicily, for example, and spend weeks or months there. Sardinia Island, so much to see on Sardinia Island. And then you could just hop from town to town, city to city. You could spend days in many of the most famous cities: Rome, Florence, Venice, Naples. Another cool chill out place here. And then next is Japan. I've only been there twice, spent 1 month each time, but am very much looking forward to going back again. Japan is such an interesting place. It is really kind of tucked away in its own corner of the world, where it has retained its own unique culture and code of ethics, which really governs the society, making it a really ideal culture in which there's pretty much absolute safety, no hustlers, scams, theft, and a very, of course, high-tech country, one of the leaders in the world of technology, modernism, but mixed with the ancient ways, the old temples, tons to see, a very rich history and culture, and somewhere that you really will never get a full grasp on as an outsider, but you are perfectly welcomed there to try your best to figure out what's going on. There are basically no rude people in Japan that I've experienced. Nobody is going to like blow you off or be blatantly rude to you. There's just this culture of consideration, politeness. It is really an ideal place to visit. The food is really good, so much more than just sushi. In fact, sushi is almost hard to find sometimes. There's so much other stuff. I think the second time that I went to Japan, I never had sushi, even though I wanted to. I just kept finding these restaurants serving other things and never had it. So it isn't just about, sushi, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's all kinds of strange, to us, colorful, tasty foods. Not all of them to my liking, but my strategy with Japan was to always order 2 or 3 dishes and I would generally like at least 2 out of 3. Okay, hopefully going across the rocks is the way to do this one. Looks like it's going to be a lot of rock hopping for a while. Shirt off and sandals on. That is going to make it a lot easier to hop across these rocks. So, coming in at number 6 is Croatia. So, I said that I love the Mediterranean. Croatia on the Adriatic Sea, which is part of the Mediterranean. And it reminds me a lot of one of my other favorite countries, Greece, in terms of the history, the landscapes, the islands. There are many, many Croatian islands. I've only been to 3 of them so far and would like to see lots more. I've only been to Croatia twice. Actually 3 times, but the 3rd time last year I just flew into Dubrovnik and the next day headed down to Montenegro. But the 2nd time that I was there was right in the middle of COVID, when I couldn't go to Western Europe. Croatia at the time was not part of the Schengen zone of countries, in which you enter the Schengen countries and then don't need to show your passport when you cross between countries. And so I couldn't go to the Schengen countries, Germany, France, Greece, Switzerland, Italy, etc. But Croatia was open to Americans at that time in 2020. And so I spent 7 weeks there and saw a lot and really loved it. I love that kind of a climate, the dry, sunny Mediterranean climate, those kinds of landscapes. Despite being somewhat similar to Greece as far as the location on the Mediterranean, it is a very different culture and history, and so it is also quite different from Greece or Italy or Spain. It has the Slavic culture and history, but the people are great. The food didn't make much of an impression on me. There isn't much that I can recall of actual authentic Croatian food. There's a lot of Italian food there. I went to a restaurant once in Split and asked them, can you bring me something local? And so they brought me cevapci, which is just a pile of sausages, almost like breakfast sausages. So it's all right, but it's just a big pile of meat. And so as far as like unique Croatian food, I mean, maybe I just missed it. I spent a lot of time there. I try to be experimental with restaurants. I walk around, look at menus, and for whatever reason then I can't recall anything else as far as Croatian food. But you can find lots of other things there, and if I missed out then, hopefully I will find more authentic Croatian food the next time, because I would love to go back and especially see more of the islands, because it really kind of has the whole package for me as far as what I really love in a country. We are now in the top 5. Number 5 is Turkey, also on the Mediterranean. So Turkey has a really fascinating history, including, of course, prior to the Ottoman Empire, it was Greek. It was where some of the original Christians, Greeks, lived. And so if I have to pick my one favorite place on earth, not country, but one specific favorite place, it is Cappadocia in Turkey. An absolutely bizarre, fascinating place with strange landscapes with the fairy chimneys, rock pillars sticking up out of the ground, and then riddled with caves carved out by humans who lived there for so long they don't know when the history even begins. The Cappadocians are mentioned in the Bible, and so you have these cave cliff complexes, towns basically carved into cliffs, whole like apartment buildings that are cave systems, and then also underground cities that could house tens of thousands of people. So really fascinating history and architecture. And then the Christians came along and moved into those caves that were most likely older than them, and then drew Christian murals on many of them that are absolutely gorgeous. Okay, what should we be doing here? Looks like I might need to go back inland. This isn't even really a trail. Try to find a trail because it looks like it might be impassable that other way. So maybe there was a trail somewhere that I missed. But there is much, much more to see of Turkey than just Cappadocia. From some of the best beaches on the Mediterranean to Pamukkale in the interior, mountains. I think there are even ski resorts, and of course Istanbul, one of the most incredible cities in the world in terms of its atmosphere now. Very bustling, very happening, a mix of European, Asian, Middle Eastern influences, ancient history, Greek ruins, so much to see in Istanbul. So one of the reasons why Turkey is so high up on my list is because it is one of those places where there is just so much to explore. You can keep going back again and again and again. And I look forward to going back again. And number 4 is, you're looking at it, Thailand. So Thailand is another one of those countries in which if you didn't like it, you must not have been here. Or you only went to Bangkok in the middle of a typhoon or something. Or an earthquake, unfortunately, just a few days ago. But some of the countries on my top 20 list are more personal preferences that not everybody is necessarily going to enjoy. But Thailand, what do I need to say? You're seeing it in this video and in my past videos so far on this trip. The beaches, the beautiful waters, the great food, the lovely people and culture, and a wide variety of different things to see beyond just beaches and islands. Much to see in the interior. I have been to Chiang Mai, Pai, the Mae Hong Son loop. That was before I was filming videos back in 2007. But there is much to see in the interior. And of course, Bangkok, one of the best cities in Asia and in the world. Fascinating city of modernism, high-tech skyscrapers and malls, as well as classic old-style Thai neighborhoods and temples and buildings, etc. So what's not to love about Thailand? And number 3, Nepal. So the one drawback basically of Nepal, what to do? Somebody's sunglasses, maybe put them over here where they won't get washed away by the water. So really the one drawback of Nepal is that it is a smaller country and it isn't packed with many different things to see various cities, towns, etc. Basically, it is Kathmandu, Pokhara, and the Himalayas. And then there are a few other places, national parks, Lumbini, the birthplace of the Buddha, but that wasn't anything too special. But there is just absolutely nothing like the Himalayas. No other mountain range comes anywhere close as far as the dramatic views, the absolutely unreal landscapes, and also the culture, the mountain way of life there. The little cobblestone paths, the little villages that cars can't get to. And then the food is great. It's similar to Indian food. And the prices, it is similar to Indian prices. And so you get this just absolutely amazing experience at a low price. And it is also easy to do the trekking in the Himalayas. You don't have to do some sort of a grand planning package deal. Now, unfortunately, something that I'm very sad about is that they enacted a new rule in which you must have a guide going on treks in the Himalayas. Now, as I understand it, this doesn't apply to the Everest region, and that is one of my upcoming plans, is to head back to Nepal and hike in the Himalayas around Mount Everest. And that is something I can do, just catch the flight to Lukla and then start walking up the path. I don't have to plan anything other than my gear, be prepared for the cold nights, possibly cold days, maybe snow. But it's really a perfect combination of ultimate experience, low prices, and ease of planning. And so, of course, there are many different places that you can go in the Himalayas. So I have done 5 separate treks to 3 different trekking routes. So Annapurna Base Camp twice, Langtang twice, and Annapurna Circuit once. And there are many more treks that you can do. And Kathmandu is a great city. It's a bit less chaotic than Indian cities, a little bit more organized, you could say, but much of it is basically a walking zone, the Tamil district, and so it has this more quaint feel to it of streets that I forget maybe have motorbikes. I forget if there are motorbikes going through Tamil, but mostly it's just walking streets with cool restaurants, shops where you can buy all your trekking gear and whatnot. And there is much to see around Kathmandu. So you could spend a week in Kathmandu and have plenty to do. So Nepal gets the number 3 slot for the Himalayas and everything that you can do in the most amazing mountain range on Earth. All right, number 2 is going to be no surprise to my regular viewers. It is India. So India is not for everyone. If you've been there, if you've seen my videos, there are issues. The widespread garbage problem is the number 1 thing. Along with garbage comes bad smells, the noise pollution, all the honking, dogs barking, and various other challenges. But what you get to experience when you endure those challenges more than makes up for it, in my opinion. Not everybody would agree with that, but with India, for me, it's about, first of all, getting out of the major cities and finding the quieter places. My favorite places in India are Rishikesh and Pushkar and Hampi and Leh Ladakh, and well, Varanasi, one of the major cities, and of course Goa, amazing beaches, and Gokarna, another great beach spot. But India, I would have to say, is the country in the world with the greatest variety of things to see, places to experience. I mean, there are like, I think 22 official languages in India and thousands of dialects. So in much of the country you cross from one state to another and then they speak a different language. And then so many different religions: Hinduism, Islam, Jainism, even a little bit of Judaism, a fair amount of Christians, Buddhist. And so along with different religions comes different cultures. And so the variety of experiences there is just absolutely off the charts. And part of the whole Indian experience is the differentness of it. How totally strange and unfamiliar it is, especially your first time there, coming from the West, or even from Thailand or Japan or South America. I mean, coming from anywhere outside of South Asia, then it is going to be very, very different, very unfamiliar, chaotic, overwhelming. But that is the point, is you have experiences there like nowhere else. The optics, the images for photography, videography is just like nowhere else. You see these just bizarre, just surreal, very evocative images looking in almost any direction, of women wearing saris and cows and holy sadhus, and the landscapes, the temples. So India is not one of those places where I can say just go there and just rent a car and drive wherever and you will love it. You have to be a bit strategic about it. Find the best places and allow yourself to stay there a while, because you aren't really going to experience India in a week or two. I would say a month minimum, but really better the longer you can stay. At least maybe 2-3 months, if possible, to really get a genuine handle on what is happening in India, and to be able to see a wide variety of the different places to see there. All right, here we go. Number one needs no introduction if you follow my channel, and that is Greece. So why I love Greece so much, I have explained in previous videos, but it is a combination of factors. Ultimately, it is the feeling, the atmosphere of being on a little island in the Mediterranean with surreal landscapes, not unlike this here, actually. Not for everybody. Many prefer the tropical island paradise, but the weather, especially for basically 6 months out of the year, almost no rain, so you can count on it being a beach day. And then when you get there, you're going to find some of the nicest beaches in the world and the clearest water, just, you know, like looking through glass when it is the right conditions. Okay, is this going to work out this time? We shall find out around the point there. Might want to put my shoes on soon. Let's see around the corner. But it is also other practical factors, like a lack of bugs for the most part. Certainly sometimes there could be some mosquitoes, but very low bugs, very good weather, great food. I love the Greek music, is so evocative. It fits so perfectly with the islands. The ease of travel. So whereas India is really challenging to travel, Greece is really quite easy. And so it is kind of the polar opposite of Greece for me in some ways. You get overwhelmed with India, fly to Greece, and boom, that will definitely shift your perspective. But it is really quite easy to just book a room near the port, get off the ferry, walk over to your room, and then rent a motorbike, a rental car, whatever, four-wheeler, and explore around the island, and then drop it off. And then when you leave the island, then walk over to the pier, get on the ferry, go to the next island. And although I understand that the islands can look very similar watching the videos, when you're there, they're all really different. Yes, similar landscapes, but every time I arrive on a Greek island, so I've been to 59 Greek islands so far, then it is always exciting. Okay, this is a new one. It has a similar looking town with the blue and the white buildings on the sea, but it is still all new. And so these rankings are all flexible. It could change. Another country could be number one, but as I continue going back, then it tends to just kind of reinforce that, yeah, there's a reason why I keep going back to these top countries of mine. And so I would definitely say it is a goal of mine to reach 100 countries officially, UN member states, this year. I have lots of time ahead of me. We'll see if that happens. But there you go, 100 countries, officially, unofficially. Many of the countries that did not make this list are certainly countries that I really love as well. You could really call it a tie between a whole lot of countries that it's hard to rank and say, well, I like this one more than this other one, when they're so different, have different things to see. But that is my best effort at narrowing it down to my top 20 countries. Okay, looks like we have another little bay around the corner here, so hopefully this all goes through, and then I will definitely be ready for a swim at the next beach. So out there you can see the mainland of Thailand. There, a tiny little islet, and a vision of heaven this way, another beautiful looking beach. Hopefully I can get there. And almost there. I see only a few other people, and what a pretty little beach. So this looks like a good one to stop and take a swim for a while. All right, mission pretty much accomplished. You can see it goes out to a point out there. Looks like a bit tricky along the rocks again over there. So I think that I'm just going to stop here, swim some laps as I love to do, back and forth here for a little while, and then get up to the road and catch a song tower or whatever comes along back to my motorbike in the main town. Here we go. So there is a price list. The prices here are set when it is a private taxi ride, basically. So it's $350, which is 10 bucks. So really expensive here on the island. When I first arrived and got a ride to my hotel, then it was $200, and I thought that that was expensive. $6 for a 1 mile also Songtao private ride. So that's just the way it is. I guess, you know, probably it's because they don't get a whole lot of business, and so they have to make more or something, who knows. But anyways, that's what it is. $10 to get me back. Right now, it is totally worth it because it was going to be another hour of walking, about 5 kilometers more to go. So now I can just relax. What a day.